Good morning, everyone. This is the captain speaking. Your buddy, Captain Contrary, coming at you on a wonderful Friday. Today is 10-4 day, October 4th, 2024. So 10-4, good buddy. I want to talk a little bit. I got a tweet that came past me, and I thought it was just utterly fascinating. As somebody who's somewhat of a prepper himself, this really struck a chord, because the events going on with Helene and the aftermath is kind of what we all prepare for. I know there's some people that prepare for the end of the world as we know it. You're never going to be prepared for that, or a SHTF situation, but generally when you're in a preparedness mindset, it's really is natural disasters that you're really thinking about. It's how do I protect my family, and we get out of this as unscathed as possible and help as many people as possible. That's what preparing is, and it's for hurricanes and tornadoes and blizzards and all the nasties that life in this planet can throw at you, up to and including, of course, sunspots and that kind of stuff. So here we are, and I found this interesting that that the U.S. government is sending National Guard troops overseas to help with activities that are going in the Middle East, and they are sending billions of dollars to foreign governments on a whim. They can do anything they want, but when it comes to the rescue efforts, folks, this is why you need to be a prepper, because when it comes to rescue efforts, they are not really helping. What would be helpful in these areas are helicopters, and pack mules, and people, and in supplies. But instead, what we have is a government spending $1 billion on migrants, and then sending people in that area a $750 check. $750 check will not repair that bridge or remove those trees from the street, or pretty much do anything to help people get out of that situation, and maybe to an area where they can actually take a hot shower and get some food, and then plan and reorganize their lives. Now, what they need to be is evacuated out of many of those areas still. So keep the $750, and maybe we can get it somewhere else. We send it later on, and that's fine. But I just find this. Now, Zero Hedge, of course, uses a very unflattering image of Kamala Harris, which come on, Zero Hedge, you don't have to do that. She's a good-looking woman. I'm not going to vote for this woman. I don't really particularly care for her, but she is a fine-looking specimen. You don't have to use bad photos. Just use a good photo, a flattering photo, because, well, again, she's a good-looking woman. Anyways, that's beside the point. So I want to read this real quick, and then I'll expand on it. So this was a tweet that went out from Lessons from Asheville, and it said, copy from a prepper group that copied it from another prepper group. I think this was an LDS person. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina right now, and we were devastated by the hurricane. Day 5 of no power, water, internet, or even cell service. We are cut off from the world. Here's what has mattered so far and what hasn't in my particular situation. And this is just absolutely, the stuff that this person is saying here is just fantastic. So number one lifesaver is Starlink internet. All of our phones say SOS. We can't text for help. Don't know what's going on. I plugged in my satellite internet, and I have been helping the whole neighborhood call loved ones. Everyone is offering me anything from their supplies because it is so valuable. Lifesaver number 2, solar panels and 3,000 watt battery packs. I can run satellite internet, electric kettle to purify water, charge headlamps, electronics, instant pot for cooking, ice makers for the cooling, everything I need. I won't run out of the sun like I would propane or gas if this extends a lot longer. I don't. That's bad grammar. Lifesaver number 3, gas cans and extra gas. These are sold out everywhere and are harder to get than gas itself. When power goes out, so does gas station pumps. When you have portable gas, you can run a generator, evacuate, drive to where the supplies are, check on family members, etc. People are stranded and sleeping at gas stations for days in their car waiting for power to come on, and so they can get home. And then lifesaver number 4, knowledge on how to survive without a huge stash. Some preppers spend too much on stocking up and not enough on education. This is so damn important. None of us knew the hurricane was going to be this bad. Some people lost their entire house, including supplies. Those who know multiple ways to collect water, purify it, start a fire, find a food, are the ones that will still be alive that hadn't been rescued. I could go another month if I had to with nothing but my backpack and tools. Lifesaver number 5, hand sanitizer. Sanitization is rough here, and the hospitals are out of power, food, and water. People are starting to smell, and after you touch something, you do not want to get sick and go to the hospital because it's bad there too. The water you do find may not be safe for hand washing without purification. I wash my hands with soap and water, and then do hand sanitizer after to stay healthy. Other things I've relied on: cash. No power means no debit cards can be used. Disposable cutlery and plates. A 4x4 truck that can drive where others can't, or help tow people to safety. Solar battery or radio. Dogs for company and alert if someone is outside. Gosh, yes, dogs are invaluable in every situation, good and bad. All right, and then what hasn't mattered as much as I thought. The number 1, guns. I haven't even thought about needing my guns and realized that I put too much on this. Strangers have come together in our area and are taking care of each other like you wouldn't believe. Each person has a surplus of something and is missing something else. We all share while still respecting boundaries and only sharing what we choose. Again, this can depend on the area, but here, if you are acting paranoid, standoffish of others, and open carrying a gun, the nice, innocent people are going to avoid you, and you will be isolated without community or resources. I'm still glad to have a gun, but I wish I had spent more time on other skills too, instead of putting so much emphasis on shooting. And anyone who says it only takes one time and you'll be glad for your aim, you're missing the point I'm trying to make here. This is true. And then the number 2 is food. This is easy to find for me, but it may be due to the part of the country I'm in. I can also find fish, forage, and don't cook much because I don't want to waste water on dishes. I had shelf-stable food prepped, and I'll probably end up only using 25% of it in a month. As people's freezers start to thaw, we've had big cookouts so it doesn't go to waste, and I've been full most nights. Again, this list could be based on location, type of natural disaster, weather, etc. But it's interesting to me because I'm actually living it instead of prepping and wanted to share. So it's a really fantastic list. This is a really fantastic list of, and if you hear something in the background, it's my daughter. she's cooking something. This is a fantastic list, and I want to say that of the things that haven't mattered much, what they said here, this number 1, guns, I can't tell you just how true that is. I think that people get into prepping and I've seen this. Different people will go out and spend $40, $50, $80,000 on guns and ammunition. and then maybe have $1,000 worth of food on hand, and not a whole lot of knowledge about anything much more than how to take care of a gun and clean a gun and how to shoot. And guns are really important, and learning how to shoot is pretty important. But it is far more important, far more valuable to know how to use a chainsaw, how to properly, work with wood and work with raw materials to make shelter if you have to, or how to turn wrenches. What your different tools are, that kind of stuff, and just how to be, in general, how to think outside the box and work with what you have in order to survive. How to distill water when you don't have a normal way to distill. Like if you don't have electricity, how are you going to do that? Well, if it's sunny out, you can make a drip distillery and distill water. It's going to be not a whole lot, but you can do it. But you have to have those skills. You have to gain those. And so having that knowledge, if you don't have that knowledge directly, like you're not going out and working in groups, or you're going out and practicing your bushcraft skills, say, for instance, at least take the time to gather that knowledge on paper and put it somewhere safe, so that in the event that you need it, you can at least pull it out and start to collect those skills and hopefully survive, versus your guns. Invest in yourself, invest in your family, and that's really where you want to put your time and your money more than anything else. Getting a rifle or a couple of rifles is pretty cheap, and having a surplus of ammo, because, well, you're going to need it, obviously. That's fine, but to go overboard and put a whole lot of emphasis on, I've got to have a sidearm, and I have to have, an AK-47 and an AR-15 and a 30-06 and a shotgun and a scope, and you don't need all that crap. You just need something to go hunting with. Maybe occasionally have to, on a very remote side of things, you might have to ward off somebody who might be coming to take your stuff. But in the disaster scenarios that you're really prepping for, you're not, like this person says, you're not even brandishing your guns, you're not even using your guns, because you're working with your neighbors. The marauders coming in from the city to take your stuff is not happening. That's not the thing that you should be really emphasizing. And these other things here, so the things the big takeaway is their number one for the lifesaver. Number one is communications. You want to spend money on something that's going to help you out. It is definitely your communication systems, and figure out, just CB radio is great for, you can buy CBs secondhand for next to nothing, and have multiples just sitting in storage somewhere, ready to go, and you can hook it up to a battery, and a dipole antenna. You can make one, out of a long cord if you really absolutely need to, and throw it up in the air, and you can literally get information about what's going on and how to coordinate better from that. And so likewise, Starlink, which would be a godsend, and I can understand having access to the internet, because now you've gone from acting locally to acting globally with the internet. Wow, that's just something else. So if you're prepping, you really might want to consider that to get Starlink, because that's something else, if you think about it. And I had never considered what Starlink means with regard to that. But I'm glad this person posted it, because now I'm thinking about it, and I think you probably will too. The other thing is, there are satellite phones, but they're kind of expensive as well. I think Starlink internet would be way more useful at the end. Yeah, and then the solar panels and battery packs. Wow, that is something there. That I'm sure is an extreme lifesaver, because you got to power up your cell phones, and you got to power up your tablets and all that kind of stuff. Because those all run on batteries. So way to recharge it. Absolutely. I can see that those 3,000 watt battery packs are or higher are going to be an absolute paramount to your comfort level. You don't need it to survive, but boy, would it make things a hell of a lot more comfortable in a bad situation like this. It's like having air conditioning. You don't need air conditioning to survive. You can live without it, but I don't want to. Or painless dental surgery. You don't need painless dental surgery to have a tooth removed. That's affecting your life. That might be detrimental to your health, but it sure does help. So that's this is a perfect. This is a fantastic list that whoever took the time to comprise this and pass along this information. Thank you so much. I wish I knew who I could credit with doing this, because it's a copy of a copy of a copy, and no credit was given. Thank you, mysterious, unknown person from Asheville, North Carolina. Who put this out there, because this is something that I think a lot of people, especially if you're a hardcore prepper who puts a lot of emphasis on guns, you really need to rethink your game a bit, especially if you're well covered on the guns, and say, all right, now where am I lacking? Where are my skills lacking as far as my bushcraft skills, or your food, and or your skills on how to garden and stuff like that. I start investing in those areas, and get dogs. Always have dogs, because dogs are freaking awesome. All right, that's a short one, and I appreciate you tuning in. God bless.